Welcome to the Bougie Black Brother Network. Good morning and welcome to Tech Talk. I'm Michael, your Bougie Black Brother. And a special session today is on, as you can see, ta-da! Roomba robots, iRobot vacuum cleaners. So you notice we have two here. So I was going to test one out and find out which one is the best one, and kind of think about, do I need to keep them both or go back to just using the one, which is the high-end 960 as opposed to the not low end, but the 690 Roomba. So there's a couple of differences between the two, but not much of a difference. And we'll go into the actual visuals of what they look like. I did have the 690 for a little longer than the 960, but if you tell on the box, there's some aesthetic differences, but not much. And they're around the same size, but aesthetically, they're kind of, set up a little differently. I want to talk about the different models that they actually have. I'm going to tell you about the need that I have, as opposed to people who have carpeted houses, hardwood, or different other like tile or vinyl or whatever. But how well they do in each area. And I needed it for two, some carpeted areas and some hardwood area. And I'll give you some examples with that. But this is very interesting in the days of digital and Wi-Fi enabled devices, because these two are Wi-Fi enabled, as opposed to a lot of the other vacuum robots that you just set them up and let them go, and whenever they're done, whereby the Wi-Fi enabled ones, you can actually schedule them, stop them, start them, end them, and go from there. So I really wanted to wait until I got a lot more control in order to do the things that I want with the vacuum. And when you have hardwood floors, it's really, really good to be able to actually clean them as often as possible, and normally during the off hours where no one is actually tracking up anything. But we'll go into that. I just want to give you a quick introduction and a quick look of the two that we're going to be talking about and how they work under the conditions that I put them both under. So here's a physical look at both of them. You got the 960 on the right and the 690 on the left. If you look a little closely on the 690, a couple of scratches here and there. And the reason for the scratches there is that thing gets caught under everything. And we'll go into the differences between how each one of these interact into the area. But look at the logo placement on those so you can tell a little difference. The clean button, look at the way those are positioned. And you see that little gap right there on the 960 right here? That's the actual camera. It's a little camera that looks into the area and starts mapping the area as it starts cleaning. So that little camera makes sure it maps the area where it's cleaning, so it can know exactly the distance and where your furniture is placed. So when it comes back for the second time, it's like, I'm not going over in that area and I'm not going over on here. So that little camera on there is really, really cool. But I'm going to go through a couple of pictures, a couple of sites, so you can, we can talk through the difference of the two, and you can say, okay, I get them. And then I can give you my reaction to actually using these two different iRobot vacuum cleaners, and let you know preference-wise. Or if you're not going to get, and you're looking for a good price point because you just can't afford the high-end 960, I can give you the pluses and minuses of the 690, and we can go from there. So what we have here, I wanted to let you hear it actually cut on, and then the noise that it actually makes. then you know it's actually being activated. So this is the 690. So I wanted to start the smaller one and let you see it in action. As you see, I wanted it because of my hardwood floors and the small things that actually it can pick up and keep the floors pretty clean in a way that I can actually never have to do any sweeping or anything in that manner. So I really, really enjoy the fact that it can pick up the smaller things that I never need to be worrying about from that. Now we come to the 960, which I moved to after I just had my experience with the 690. But let's do the remote clean. So I have it on my app. And if you look here on the app, this is what the screen looks like. All you have to do is press the round circle clean. And this is what you're going to get. So it's going, and you hear the fan. So it's making a decision, what am I going to do? So here's a really, really, really interesting. This one you should be really impressed with because it's already mapped the area, and look at the pattern that it's making. And this is what I love. From the hardwood floors to the actual carpet. And look, it feels that there's something a little more that it had to go through. Look how I went back over to say, let me make sure I get a good cleaning of this. And it's going back and forth. I'm very impressed with that. So I may be glaring about this right now, but this is the one that I really feel impressed with because of the remote access and its ability to do what it needs to do with cleaning the surface and everything else. But really, really good. Really, really impressive. Very, very impressive. Here's another thing I wanted to show. So what I just did was I said, in this job, and go back to the base. Because I didn't want to clean anymore. And look what it did. It's going right back to the base. And it's completed. That's what you're going to have a problem with the 690. The 690 does not go directly back to the base. The 690 will try to figure itself back. And a lot of times it can run out of battery time or whatever. So I really didn't like that at all. But this, I ended it. And as I showed you, it shows you press the clean button. It says end job. And then it says, what do you want it to do? Pause, or do you want it to do anything else? But this 960 is amazing. So let's look at some app features, and then we'll do a comparison with the other iRobot Roombas that I decided not to buy and stuck with the 690 as well as the 960.
So as we open the app, you notice that it's two that I have set up already. And this is the feature to switch between the two, because you can add robot. And here's a smart home. We're going to go into your privacy, store to buy additional items, and just regular information. Smart home. Let's jump into that. You can connect it to your Alexa. You can connect it to your Google Assistant, and you can use it in IFTTT, which is really good. There's great options there. Now, I'm right there in the big boy app for them. So look at this big button right here. This big button, you press clean, and it starts. That's it. And you can stop it, and it goes from that. But right at the bottom, I'm going to show you these other options that we're going to actually be getting into right now. First, weekly schedule. I got my schedule from Sunday to Saturday, 12:30, when no one's up and about, and I'll be able to take a look and do what I need to do on there. But after it's done, this is cool. Here's the other option. it shows you the history of the days of the week, how long it took, if there was any errors. Notice the red portion, those are your errors throughout that. Yesterday was an error, I got caught under something. And look at the times, 18 minutes, 28 minutes, 2 minutes. So it tries to find the most efficient time or place to go to. And see, it maps the whole home. As it going through there, it maps it, and then tomorrow it'll go right back to the map. It's not wasting time unless you make it do that. So the map will talk to you. That's the starting point right there. Now I wanted to show you the care, because they have two different options for both different ones. So when you look into it, in your help and your settings, that press button, you can locate it. So here's the 690. So the 690, it shows you a little picture, and then it shows you first the bin. So I kept it full so you can see it's over full. You can go into that. The main brushes is still cool, and the core of it is still in good shape. The 960, I cleaned this morning because usually when I get up, I dump that out and make sure that it's fine. So look at the bin. Bin is fine, but the core is due in a debris distraction. But now let's get into the other robots. So let's compare the other robots to each other. We have some data to discuss that. The 800 series, the 900 series, the 600 series. Let's go do the comparison. Then you can see the difference between the two. I'm going to take a minute on these. But before we do that, look at the different robots that's out there. You got iRobot, Inventor Robbins, the Dyson, Samsung, Neato, and they have their own great little things about them. But I found that the iRobot series is giving me what I need. Now you can go through those and kind of look through it on your own, and then you can say, is it good for me or is it not good for me? But now let's go through the options of the iRobot Roomba actual robots and compare what some can do and what some can't do. So you really got these three options: the 6 series, the 8 series, and the 9 series. But you got 614, 890, 960, 980. So look right here at the top. You see the clean filters, the 3-stage cleaning. Look at the runtime on the 9 series, really, really high. So I went with the 75 except for the 120. Self-charging, dirt detect. But look, the last two does not have a scheduling. The Wi-Fi connected, it's the 8s, the 9s, as well as the 16. Toggle-free rollers. So I lost that on the 690. High efficiency filter, lost that on the 690. Multi-room cleaning. Look at how the 9 series do the multi-room. And then recharge and resume. I really like that because if it got there and I moved it and I opened another door up and then it had to go somewhere else, guess what? It can finish that, it'll recharge, and it'll go back to the actual charger, and then it'll go back and finish where it was. It's because remember, it maps the area. And see the last portion right there, clean map reports. So as it shows, hey, look, this is what it did. This is the area that it did. This is how much it did. So this, to me, is pretty much one of the most important aspects of making the decision of which one you want. I love them because it just makes more sense for me on a daily basis. Coming home, look at this little dirt. Let me sweep. I can do it if we leave home. I can do it if someone's at the house and your basic small dirt that actually collects here and there, dropping things, and just your basic sweeping. It even goes into the kitchen and does a pretty good job. But the thing is, I didn't really want to get the mopping because I think that's really, and I got to look into that too. I want to see if that's really something that if you spill something, does it really pick it up? Or is there a stain on the ground? Will that pick it up too? And Roomba actually has like a wet mop too, but I really didn't want to get into it. But that's what we have for the iRoomba. And again, my preference is the 960 because it can do so much more, as you can see on the chart previously. And I think this is a good option if you really want a good self-cleaning, small vacuum to take up your basic stuff, especially in small carpeted areas. And I love it for hardwoods because it keeps the small debris off of there. And it looks really, really good. It sustains really well. Thanks so much. And I'll see you next time on the Tech Bro Wino. Yeah, I said Tech Talk, but it's the Tech Bro Wino. And you'll start seeing that because basically drinking and having a good time. But I'm doing an actual Zinfandel Syrah actual blend, and I was taking that as I was doing the editing through that. So my wine option for today is really Zinfandel Syrah blend, and we'll get that one at the end of the week, and you'll be able to hear that and see it on YouTube. So check us out on bougieblackbrother.com. Check us out on iTunes. Check us out on YouTube under Bougie Black Bro on Twitter and Instagram, but the Bougie Black Brother Network on YouTube, and on the Tech Bro Wino on iTunes, and you can start seeing that on all of the actual podcast downloads. So check that out, and we'll be able to give you a lot of tech reviews. I made this one, so there's a lot of, since I'm a gadget guy, there's a lot of little stuff gadget wise that I really wanted to do a review with. And while Alicia will probably be a guest on certain things, but these are the gadgets that I just exclusively run with. So thanks very much, and we'll see you next time on the Tech Bro Wino. Peace.